2023 class kind of exploded. But besides that, Oklahoma's done a really good job of retaining kids that they brought in as recruits. Speaking of recruits, 2022 class, a lot of juniors, a lot of upperclassmen. Who's going to break out? I think we're going to see an All-American there. Let's talk about it. Coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thanks again for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there for tuning in and subscribing to the show. You can find us wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to, and on YouTube. So hit that bell notification so you don't miss when a single episode drop. For your second listen, check out our guy, Brian Smith, over there at The Portal, talking all recruiting. This is the recruiting season. He'll get you all the insight on players that are looking at Oklahoma, because he had a couple of them they did videos on that got your boy excited. But speaking of recruits, the 2022 class, we're going to continue this series as we're going to look at some players who we think is going to break out. And I'm going to keep it a buck. I think that Oklahoma is going to end up having not one, but two All-Americans from the 2022 class at the end of the season. So that's a bold take. Hey, take it to the bank, baby. I expect these guys to show out. But when you look at it, that class still has a lot more kids still on roster that are veteran, a little bit more than we had lost. The 23 class, that imploded. 22 class, not so much. That's where you have your R. Mason Thomases of the world, your Jaren Kanaks, Jovantae Barnes, Jake Taylors, Gentry Williams. But I'm going to tell you this. At the end of the season, here's the two names that I expect to actually be All-Americans. And the first one, Robert Spears-Jennings, the safety at 6'1", some change. My expectation with him has been that Robert Spears-Jennings becomes that dude for the defense. And so when me and John talked about who's going to take over and be that leader, that Billy Bowman voice out there, I think it's going to end up being Robert Spears-Jennings. As I would look and evaluate it more, he came in there like a lightning rod. He is a true senior. He is ready to go in. And this is the year where I think that he'll take that next leap needed to put himself in the conversation of, at minimum, a day 2 draft pick. And if he does that, that will put him as an All-American in college football, because he has the talent and everything. He's got the speed. He's got the size. He's got the hit. I mean, when you saw him blitzing against Tennessee and against Auburn, you're like, yes, give me more. And then the interception against, was a Houston. He just came across the middle and just snatched that thing. You need more of that. And that's something I actually expect out of Robert Spears-Jennings. I expect him to become that leader and take over for us on the defensive side of the ball. So because of that, the best part is him being that mentor for our young pups, the Reggie Powers of the world, the Michael Boganowskis of the world, the Jaden Hardys of the world, that next level of safeties that we're going to have show up. And then from there, having Omarion Robinson as well as Marcus Wimberly be able to really understudy with him. It gets me beyond excited that there is a chance that with them learning from him, we're going to have Brandon Hall's got himself a nice lineup of safeties for the future. And then we've also got some recruits we're working on now that if we land them too, Brandon Hall's got the easiest job in college football. He's just that darn good. He's going to have his room popping, and that's my expectation. And so I don't think that there's any other reason for, or any other player that to me is going to be any bigger than what Robert Spears-Jennings is going to be. Now, granted, we expect Peyton Bowen from the 23 class to have his breakout year, but I think Robert Spears-Jennings is one that should be an All-American. The other one that I expect to be an All-American, it's very easy to say, it's going to be R. Mason Thomas. I think R. Mason Thomas is going to go out there and solidify himself as one of the premier edge rushers in college football. I mean, last year finishing with those 9 sacks, 6 of them coming in SEC play. He had 11 QB hurries and all kinds of stuff. Everything about his game made you say, yeah, I need to keep my eyes out on him. I think that he's going to be a dude that's going to be a pain for other teams to have to deal with. And that's my feelings when it comes to R. Mason coming in this year. Teams are going to have to focus on him. The good thing is they can't make that mistake because of this defensive line. As you go down the line of it, him and Marvin Jones Jr. are going to terrorize folks. Daniel Collier and Peach Adebawari are ready. Taylor Wine, he may actually show up and become the big surprise from that 23 class. But I do believe that that's the two players that will end up being your All-Americans. I think honorable mentions, if you have to go into it. The crazy part is mainly going to be talking about defensive dudes because that still has Kip out there. You got Kobe in that class. There's a good chance that those guys are next up on that list too. They could be some honorable mentions. But if Jaden Gibson comes back healthy and continues that what he was doing in 2023, Jaden Gibson is one that's going to be in the conversation. I mean, he was a top 150 player in the country coming in out of Florida, and at 6'5", if he can be as good as he was in 23, if that full year of rest and he was able to really heal and there wasn't a major setback, it was just a sit his butt down because we don't want him to get hurt. If he comes out, the game may change. And so for me, I want to see if I'm not going to put too many eggs in the Jaden Gibson basket yet. And it's nothing against him. No shade on him. It's I ain't to see you do it on the field. And when I see you do it on the field, I'll feel more comfortable. But that 2022 class, man, they still had some other studs in there. I mean, Jovantae Barnes is still here, which is crazy that he's still out there. And then, of course, Jake Taylor and Jacob Sexton, your two offensive linemen that as they develop, they could be something. Heck, Jaren Kanak moving into the offensive side of the ball. What do y'all think? Do you think Jaren Kanak could really surprise us this coming season on the offensive side? I'm truly curious about that because as talented as he is, the bigger thing is he just needs to really control it. The good thing is that I think he has the capabilities of controlling it and really harnessing that speed. Because, I mean, he was a speed demon on the offensive side of the ball. You put him out there and you get him just in a little bit of open field and let him just run, he's really hard to catch. And it's just, he said it himself. He just couldn't figure out linebacker to be as successful as he wanted because of the complexities of how Brent Venables does it. So we totally understand that. I would love for Jaren Kanak to show up and show out, but we'll see what happens. But I'm going to tell you, my two guys that I believe will end up being All-Americans, Robert Spears-Jennings as well as R. Mason Thomas. Sooner schedule. Had questions. Is there a trap game on there? Let's talk about it next here on Locked On Sooners.